Hello and welcome to Icelandic Formula Offroad. Once again, the season kicks off in Hella, the legendary race that everybody waits for. It is literally the sound of summer in Iceland. 29 cars were entered, a great number here to kick off the season, and record crowds at Hella. Estimated that well over 6,000 people visited the dunes during the race day. Now, early in the morning, competitors taking a look at the tracks, and we had a blend of competitors, old legends, along with new entries. A very cool race. Now, let's kick it off with the modified class. This is Sævar Páll driving Ironman. He came in third place in the modified class. The modified class not quite running the same tires as the unlimited class. And in second place it was Finnur Bárðarson driving the Rock. A muddy rock here. Ending it up through the mud. Now, the winner in Hella in the modified class, Bjarki Reynisson driving the Animal. Floating and skipping over the river. Well, almost over. But a solid win for Bjarki Reynisson. Now let's move over to the unlimited class, and here we can see the tires that make the difference. This is Þórmar Pálsson in track number 1. Today we'll go through tracks 1, 2 and 3. There are 6 tracks in total in Hella, and like always, Hella kicks off. Oh, look at that nasty rock underneath Thor there. Will he manage to pull through here? Seems to have some traction. Gets him moving, but the rock is still underneath. Needs to go back up here on the right. Very technical courses to kick off the day. Now, needs to go up and through the gate here on the left. Does take some penalty points. Close to rolling it there, but needs to be above. He needs to be above the white marker there. That is out of bounds for Þórmar, but he can if he doesn't cross the line there below. Had to reverse there. Sticks it in bounds, but that's penalty points for reversing and then touching the gate as well. And now for the final climb, Þórmar going for a big jump here, and Thor makes it to the top. 350 for the length, 240 total after penalties. Now, this is Marino, and that's taxi bitch. Oh, that's roll number 1 in Hella. Next up, Valgeir Reynisson driving Batman. This is Valgeir's second season. He saw the roll here before. Sticks it nicely there, wants to try and catch the gate without reversing, but that ends up with a roll as well. Now Daniel Ingimundarson. If there is Formula Offroad mentioned somewhere, Daniel will show up. A true veteran of the sport here. Tries to steer it through. That's past the gate. Needs to reverse here, or will he manage to get the car turned without reversing? That's nicely done, but that's going to be a hefty fine of penalties. Now 3 penalty gates there that he takes all of them. Needs to go up here to make something off it, but it's only Þórmar that gone before, and will Daniel roll it there at the end? No, manages to keep the Green Thunder on its wheels. Next up, this is Grímur Helgason. This is Brjála the second. This car, one of the best equipped on the tour. Nicely done there, managed to keep it within the gate without needing too much of maneuvering there below. And needs to floor it. Waits way too long there, and that is just hesitation. That's what happens in the first course of the year. Probably won't see it again. Now Jörgen Ingimundarson driving the Outlaw, returned to the sport last year. Nicely done there, sticks it on its wheels. Does he need to reverse here? Might need to reverse or what? Gets it turned. Manages to stick a wheel there, but is he stuck? Can he go further? Reverses and back on his way. That's going to be a hefty fine of penalties at the point there. Now needs to stick it all the way, late on the gas as well. Managed to get the front wheels through the gate, but that's not enough. 250 for length, but 120 penalty points means that Jón leaves track 1 with 130. Now Gísli Gunnar Jónsson, this is a legend of Icelandic Formula Offroad, one of the most crowned competitors of all time, returning here for Hella in his old car, now called the Steroid. Gunnar, a crowd favorite, raced through the golden years of the sport when the growth was most here in Iceland, winning championship after championship. And can he go all the way there? Gets up on the top. Oh, look at that, the front wheel's not turning. There's something broken. Now here we're in track number 3 with Gísli Gunnar because his day did not end well. Unfortunately. Here we go, through the jump. Nicely done. A beautiful round there. But this is track number 4 and look at all the smoke coming from the engine. Misfires and it's gone. The block completely broken and no more driving for Gísli Gunnar that day. A shame because he was driving really well on his return. Now we continue. Bjartur Eliasson, Olsen, the Olsen car scored their first win at the end of last year and Bjartur managed to secure 2 wins. It's a very different approach there, but manages to keep it. Not sure if that was penalty points or if that was rocks just kicking down the gate. Now Bjartur, does he go all the way? Yes, he does. Nicely done. And Bjartur kicking off the season, going up to P1. Now Andri Már Svinsson. This is the cowboy. Andri Már got his win here in the Cup Series last year, so in many ways a favorite coming into this race. Won the last one. Was held not far from Hella and does this nicely. 240 after penalties, but full points for length there. So the cowboy definitely putting himself in the hunt here. Now Páll Jónsson, this is the sheep. Through the first gate there. But wait a minute. No movement here for Páll Jónsson. And look at that, the front wheels not turning. That's the front differential gone. And he would miss the second track as well. Now we have Guðmundur Eliasson. This is Rodeo. The rear wheel turning track. And he can just simply glide through there without taking penalty points on the first gate, but does touch the gate on the second one. It's going to be 2 small penalties there all the way as well. And that is Guðmundur Eliasson taking the lead in Hella with 250 points. So there, a couple of them sitting there at 250. Can Guðlu do like the Olsen brother did earlier? Go all the way on a nice hollow point. Ooh, a bad line there. Gets thrown up in the air and doesn't quite make it. Ending up in a roll. Guðlu Helgason on his back there. 250 for length and 100 penalty points. Now Ingvar Jóhannesson. Ingvar, the reigning champion, as we can see by the big number 1 there on the side, is almost rolling it here, but the Viking stays on his wheels. The Viking has over 1,000 horsepower this year with a new engine, and he makes full use of every single one of them there. And that's Ingvar. Lining up on the top with Bjartur and Guðmundur, all sitting at 250 after track number 1. Andri Már and Þór Þormar only 10 points behind, with Sævar Bennisson sitting 6th with 210 points. Now we go to track number 2. This is Finnur Abjörnsson driving the Fox. The Fox car that was competing for victories here in the hands of Ola a few years ago. And Finnur has won a race in it since he took over. And nicely done here from Finnur so far. Not a lot of penalty points here. And now climbing here, needs to go to the left, back down. And then a big climb up here through this gate. And then he needs to floor it. Trying to take as much space as he can to get some run up towards it. Onto the throttle, full power, big jump, but he ends up on the rear wheels, which will only yield him 300 points. But that's only 20 penalty points nonetheless, so a nice haul for Finnur. Now Bjartur Eliasson, track number 1, he was sitting up top. Equal at 250 points with 2 of his main competitors here. Can Olsen score another win in Hella. Penalty points so far. Done there by Bjartur. It's a bit tight though, but that is a marker there down. That's probably 40 penalty points so far. Touching there. All the way through the gate, gets it turned. Nicely done. Great maneuvering here by Bjartur Eliasson. And now setting it up for that big final climb. Finnur didn't quite make it up. Can Bjartur be the first one to land it? Goes for it. Nicely done. Nicely done there for Bjartur Eliasson. 350 for length, 60 penalty points. So 290 total. Now Valgeir Reynisson. And his second roll of the day in 2 tracks. Next up, it's Jónar Ingilersson driving the Outlaw. A lot of power in the Outlaw. See, those that know the sport well, this is one of the choir boy style cars. This engine pushing out well over 1,000 horsepower, even though it's only running traditional road car gasoline. Now for the final climb, will he make use of those 1,000 horsepower? Yes, he will. Jónar Ingilersson all the way, 350 for length, 60 penalty points, just like Bjartur. But look at that, this is Eðvald Guðmundsson driving the Bachelor, and he has a flat tire before he even makes the climb. Still manages to, well, use the other 3 at least. Look at that, how the car gets thrown around. There's so much well, suspension essentially in the tires, which make it really, really hard to drive if they do not have air in them. But Eðvald, this far, so good. And now with a big push there, but look at that, how the car gets thrown up in the air. The front is basically ejected from the hill there as soon as he lands on it, and that's just a lot of well, suspension movement essentially that's missing. Now Atli Jamel in the Raptor, a fun car to watch, twitchy, has a lot of potential. We've seen Atli fight up top but hasn't quite managed to make it all come together. Something that everybody that watches is kind of waiting for. Nicely done here, but he did definitely take a marker there. And that's a second marker. It's going to be, well, probably 40 if not 60 penalty points so far. Let's see. Doesn't touch a marker here. Now setting it up for the final climb. Having all this space means that drivers can really get their cars aligned for the push, for the pull. Let's see how it goes for Atli Jamil. All the way through. Nicely done. 350 for length, 60 penalty points. Now, Guðmundur Eliasson. Let's rodeo through there. Gets it turned on the spot. Guðmundur Eliasson, one of the cars leading after track 1. Not a lot of penalty points here. 20 or 40. I didn't quite catch how many he would get there. Takes a very tight line here. This might cost him a lot of speed though. But he goes off the gas before he hits the bank there. And that just wasn't quite the velocity needed to push through. So only 250 for length. Now Thor Þormar Pálsson. 240 points after the first track. That's all the way. And we're sitting 10 points behind the leaders. Can't take the lead here with a nice run, but he definitely took that marker unnecessary in a way. Managed to go nicely through the head gate there though, Thor Þormar. Now there's one thing that we can trust with Thor Þormar. He will not be missing any speed when he comes up top. Goes for it. Hear that engine scream and that big jump through the gate, but that's a hefty penalty point haul. 110 penalty points leaves Thor Þormar with 240 total for the track. Now Andri Már. Andri Már was sitting at 240 just like Thor Þormar. As I mentioned before, won the Cup series that was debuted last year alongside the Icelandic Championship. Cowboy becoming a true contender for wins here. Now, can he go all the way? Oh, lifts off 2 times there, and that just does not give him the speed through the initial phase there, which leaves the Cowboy at 190 points here. That is going to be costly in such a tight field. However, Ingvar Jóhannesson, he has seen an opportunity here. Can he take the lead in Hella? Takes a hefty penalty there, maybe an unnecessary one. These gates, Ingvar doing it nicely. Now for the final gate. Knows that he needs to go all the way. You always lose at least 100 points for not going through the final gate. Ingvar gunning for it here. Nicely done. The exact amount of speed needed, and a soft landing for the Viking, who goes through here at 290 points. Now let's look at the standings. Bjartur Eliasson and Ingvar Jóhannesson sitting up top on 540, but Atli Jamil in the Raptor moves up to 3rd, sitting at 500. Thor Þormar in 4th, Guðmundur Eliasson 5th, and Andri Már sitting in 6th. Now let's look at the 3rd track, our final track of the day here. We'll then continue with the second half of the race in the next episode of Icelandic Formula Offroad. But here is the Cowboy kicking it off.
Glístrandi hér upp á kantinn. Þar svo niður í ansi.
Now Andri and the Cowboy and the drivers will need to go back down here and now get the car turned. Nicely done here. Andri managed to stick it through. Look how tight this turn is. That is a true test of drivers and machinery. An easy climb thereafter, as long as you get the traction out of the tight corner there, and then this middle part, and then, like always in Hella, a big final climb. Lifts the wheels a bit there, and now needs the traction there. Gets kicked up, takes the gate at the end, but goes all the way. That's 350 for length, only 50 penalty points, so 300 points for the Cowboy. Nicely done. Here we have Sævar Benónýsson driving Móri. Needs to reverse in that tight corner, but was that enough? The car's gonna slide down. He can't go over the yellow line. He needs to take all the wheels over and manages to push through there and get up. And now it's just the final gate. And the question, does Modi go all the way? Yes, he does! Now, the marker, the out of bounds marker, is a penalty as well. So that's 240 penalty points for Modi there. Now, Ingvar Jóhannesson jointly leading the race. Has scored 250. Easy does it for the Viking. He's trying to get it lined up here. Well, does take a hefty amount of penalty points there and is not committed. Look how the car sinks every time he steps on the throttle. However, does he manage to get it turned here? Was that a touch of the marker? We'll see what the judges say at the end of this run. Now here at the final gate, gets it thrown up in the air there, lands it nicely, but that's 120 penalty points for the Viking. That could be costly in this tight race. Now Guðmundur Eliasson, he's in the conversation here, and this is really where the rodeo should shine. Get it turned here, but look at that, he's missing the gate as of now. He's trying to, that sounded horrible, was trying to pull it into reverse there. And there's no movement. That is disaster for Guðmundur now. Atli Jamil in the Raptor, he is in contention here. Had moved well up the standings after track number 2. Manages to stick within the lines here. This could be a very high scoring run for Atli Jamil if he gets all the way. Has picked up penalty points so far. Did he take the gate there? That's 60 penalty points in total. So 350 for length and 60 penalty points. And that is Atli Jamil doing a great job here in the third track of the day. Now Bjartur Eliasson, Olsen. These cars do have a very tight turning angle, and Bjartur manages to get it set up well here. But how deep are the ruts now? Car's just not getting turned. That means that Bjartur needs to reverse it here, but he does it soon enough, so he only gets the penalty points for reversing. No banner touching there. This is a bit slow here or what? No, it's no problem to get through. And then the final gate, easy does it for Olsen, 350 for length and 80 penalty points. That's a nice haul for Olsen. Let's look at the standings after track 3. Bjartur Eliasson took the lead with that run. However, Atli Jamil in the Raptor moved up to second above Ingvar Jóhannesson, who is sitting tied with Þór Þormar in third. Now next time around, it's the water, it's the mud, it's all the beauty from Hella. See you next time.